Hey everyone, welcome to Callum Prints the News. I'm your host, Hugh Janus, and 3D printers are the single most tedious thing that I've ever worked with. Why did I ever even buy one in the first place? Am I crazy? Well, mainly it was because I thought they might be fun to play with and I could print out some interesting things, but then I realized that there's a little bit more to it than just pressing a button in and go where and print thing out. Stupid caveman brain didn't think that through very well, did he? Before I got a printer and thought, hey, this thing's gonna be fun, it's always gonna work, I'm never gonna have to do maintenance on it, I didn't know how shit these things were at actually working. Now, before you say anything else, don't get me wrong, the printer I have and the printers I want to have are good printers, so I'm not dissing them in any way, but I just wish they were more durable. Over time, printers break, and that gives me a headache, and it makes me a little bit stressed out because then I have less time to print stuff out, and I don't like that. So maybe I should just let off some steam to the camera, just face to face, maybe talk about how I have broken the printer or how it's broken itself, Just like a good old casual talk. Don't even get me started on these friggin' hot ends. I've had to go through so many of them. I've only had this printer for like a year. How is it possible that I could break this many hot ends so fast? Okay, that's actually true though. I have broken 3 hot ends in 1 year, and I don't really know how that happened entirely. Okay, I definitely know how that happened entirely. Seriously, the Inner 3, basic hot ends are about as cheap as an EA game nowadays. To be fair, there were a couple that were my fault, but most of them were not. I think. Okay, to be 100% fair, some of the times that I had to replace the hot end were definitely my fault. Like the time that I screwed in the nozzle sideways like I was wearing drunk goggles.
Now all I need is the alcohol.
But more recently, I've had this little thing called the thermal runaway error, and I had never seen it before, and I learned what it was, and I already don't like it. So basically, a thermal runaway error is when this little glass bead called a thermistor breaks. The name thermal runaway error kind of sounds like a really bad name for diarrhea, but I guess printers don't really have bodily functions. After all, they're not really living creatures, so... Anyway, regardless of whatever I just said means, that means my thermistor isn't doing so hot.
That pun sucked.
It was too hot to handle. But the single worst thing about this thermistor breaking thing is not that I can't replace the thermistor. That's actually pretty easy to do. The worst part is I broke another hot end in the process. I don't even know how this time. Actually, I totally know how, and it's probably completely my fault, but I wanted to shift the blame off me, not blame it on my skills or my inexperience in some areas, but sometimes you just gotta take the fall, which is not what I'm doing here, and I'm just trying to avoid the fact that I was the one who broke the thermistor. I also had a filament leak one time, and I didn't know about it until I started recording a video, so I took off the fan shroud, took off the box, and I look under it and I realized maybe 3D printers can have diarrhea. And on top of that, I kept that clip, shrugged it off like it was nothing, and just posted that as part of my tutorial to YouTube. It wasn't even a good tutorial. If you somehow manage to find that tutorial anywhere, if I don't have it on private currently, I wouldn't use it because it'll break your printer worse than Reddit broke the stock market. And that's pretty much all the major breaks I've had in my printer, and I plan to have about 25 more by the end of the year. Every now and then, I really think I should just pull a how-to basic on my printer, like Agate, but I probably shouldn't do it because that would break it, and then I wouldn't have a printer at all. Fuck you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little series that I'm starting, Callum Prints the News, and I will see you guys next time. What the what? How the fuck did this egg survive? I just chucked it into the ground and it was just fine. What the hell? Oh, jeez. Oh, no.